Welcome everybody to the next episode of the Cannabis Review. I'm delighted to be joined on this episode by Warren Bobrow. He is the co-founder and CEO of Klaus Apothicaires. How are you keeping, Warren? You well?
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I've been reading a lot about you now, and you've got a launch of your drink coming next week. So, can you maybe give everybody an overview how you went from the banking industry to the cocktail whisperer into the cannabis industry now?
Well, I'd used cannabis recreationally and also medicinally since I was about 12 years old. And I'm 60 now, so it's not just overnight. But I had a path. I had a different path. I've done a lot of things. I've had a lot of failures, and I felt that if you were going to be passionate about anything that you do in life, you should find out what you love. And I worked in the off and on-premise liquor industry for a number of years. Rum judge. I worked for a Russian company named Marussia Beverages, and it was a great experience. I got to see the world, but it also put about 50 pounds on me that I didn't need because of all the high sugar. And I developed some health problems, not, massive health problems, but I developed glaucoma, which I knew was exacerbated by the amount of sugar that I was intaking by being a rum judge. So during July of 2018, it was Tales of the Cocktail down in New Orleans, and I took my last distilled spirits drink.
Okay, wow. And so now you've got Klaus Apothicaires. Now, I was doing a little bit of research now, so I realized that Klaus is a translation for victory of the people, and that apothecary is a person who sold medicine and drugs at one stage. So I want to know, was I right in my investigation that those two names were put together intentionally?
Well, Klaus is his name. I do have a physical German drinking gnome. He's he's a good little guy. Let's see if I can get him out of his place where I have him someplace. Here he is. Bear with me. You have to move around a little bit when you do broadcastings with me. Here he is. There he is.
Brilliant. Okay.
He's a traditional German drinking gnome. And I found him to be quite a wingman. And, I was traveling around the world by myself, and you'd pull him out and put him on the table, and he starts conversations. Okay. So I named my beverage after him, although I should say, I wrote the book Cannabis Cocktails, and I wrote another book named Apothecary Cocktails, two of my 6 books. And, the whole idea of gnomes and apothecarians and healing all work well together. And by the way, it's mystical thought, mystical healing stuff. So, being in Ireland, you have a great appreciation for that.
Oh, we certainly would. We certainly would. Creating all sorts of magical potions and spells over here we are. So can you maybe give everybody a little overview about the drink that's launched next week? We know you're an expert mixologist. Can you let us know what you're in store for? We know we've got a number of cool brands over the US we can see. We've got the guys, Luke and Jake at Cannes. You've got Xander at Artet in New York. You've got yourself. There's a lot of excitement in the beverage space, the non-sugar beverage space. Can you tell us what to expect from your range of drinks?
Well, my range of drinks are made with all natural ingredients. My ginger syrup is USDA certified organic. The citrus element is from a company in France named Le Verger Boiron. They don't use any chemical pesticides in any of their products. And I chose to use their lime puree in mine. And then I have a rice vinegar effect in it. There's a little bit of rice vinegar, which gives it a tangy effervescence in a way, but no fizz. I mean, it's not like a clear seltzer with industrialized ingredients in it. This is an offshoot of my own mixology, of my bartending experience, where I would create drinks for customers or guests who would come to want to get drunk by me. So this doesn't have any alcohol in it. We've took a route of terpene forward as opposed to making drinks that only say they have cannabis on the label, but you don't have any idea what's in there. I could name a dozen of them that don't taste anything like cannabis, although they say they have cannabis in them. That wasn't my approach. My approach was to create a beverage that smelled like cannabis, tasted like cannabis, and tasted like the other three amazing ingredients which are in the drink. It's a very simple process. It's a very simple drink, and it's something that you can recreate quickly if you had to.
Okay, it sounds pretty impressive. And what can we expect? Is it just going to be in the US for now?
Uh, you know, my business partner was saying something about Mexico, but what do I know?
Yeah,
So
yeah. The
I think
objective, I'm
so.
sure, will be to march yourself into as many territories as you can get yourself into. The next
You know,
step,
as I said, I'm not a young man, although I'm young at heart. So I'd like to be able to move forward in this pretty quickly because I'm in the point of my life where I'd like to spend more time promoting rather than selling.
yeah, I understand completely. Well, maybe something that you can help me promote is what the future cannabis cocktails and social spaces will look like. We've seen a couple of consumption lounges open up in South San Francisco, and you'd be a bit of a fool not to think that once time, let's say in New York, once legalization fully kicks in next March, that there will be money in spaces being created that serves nothing but cannabis, that has music associated with the cannabis industry, food associated with the cannabis industry, and the specific genetics and the specific drinks will be of high premium content and of high value. Is that the way you see it going?
Oh my gosh, I would love to see that. I mean, I've been to Amsterdam a dozen times and enjoyed everything that there has to do there. So I didn't go to Amsterdam just for the museums. And I would love to see that image of the coffee shop played back in the United States. Unfortunately, you know, we have a lot of stigmas in place. I live in New Jersey. You know, cannabis may be quote unquote legal, but you can't buy it, you can't sell it, you can't have it. There are many counties in the state which are doing something that they call home rule, where, you know, they don't want weed. They don't want weed. It's they're stigmatizing it and keeping the stigmas. So when my own company is located in California, I like spending time there because I don't have to look over my shoulder quite so much.
Yeah, okay. Tell me this on a personal level now. What's your favorite state to smoke and consume cannabis in? Who's got the best plays in America?
Oh, it's that's I hope I don't antagonize anyone by saying this, but for me, my very favorite is Oregon.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what it is, but it reminds me the most of Maine. And when I lived in Maine back in the 1980s, cannabis was still illegal there. Everyone had it, no one could buy it. It was the same kind of thing. But when I go to Oregon, I feel like I'm in Maine without the stigmas.
Yeah, well, that's what we've had a couple of people actually say Oregon, and a good friend of the show, Jeremy Plum from Proof Cultivars, is based out in Oregon as well. So they seem to have a very high pedigree of cultivars and geneticists out there. So, what are your plans for the end of this year and the rest of, or the whole of entire of 2022 that's coming up?
Oh my gosh! Well, I'm the co-owner and co-founder of Klaus, not just the gnome, but the beverage. Next week, I'll be out. It's December 8th and 9th. I'll be out there 7th, 8th, and 9th in Palm Springs, releasing Klaus the beverage for dispensaries and doing a couple parties while I'm out there. Then I'll hope to get back out before the end of the year to do some hand selling and little events that here and there where they pop up. Basically, just focusing on getting the product out and the beverage out there for customers and for guests, and getting it in their hands and letting them taste something that's, as I said, it's not a seltzer and it's made with real ingredients and it's delicious. It's sophisticated and delicious and not sweet.
Sophisticated and delicious sound like two of my favorite words, my friend. Can you tell me this? What type of milligram dosage is it, or is that important when it comes to a drink like this? What's the length and duration of the buzz that you may get off it?
It's a good question. We're using 10 milligrams of terpene forward emulsified nanotechnology THC from Vertosa. It has the last I took, I enjoyed a little can of it. I drank the half of the can. It has about a 5-minute onset, so it's very quick, and we're using a specific strain, which is called Hippie Crasher, and it is a indica dominant hybrid. So it has it has nice talkative nature into relaxation, and eventually at the end of the night, good sleep.
It sounds like absolute a dream for me. I look forward to next time I'm over in California. I'll be looking out for where I can get my hands on some of the drink, and hopefully we can touch base with you early next year, the middle of next year, and see how everything's getting on for you. But I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been amazing talking to you.
Thank you, and thanks for putting up with me moving around it's actually the website is drinkklaus.com. So I think you should go back and just re-edit that. drinkklaus.com. drinkklaus.com.
I'm going to throw it up for everybody there now. Let's make sure we got it right.
Thanks. They're at KLAUS, no E. It's not a Klaus, but it's a Klaus.
I gotcha. We'll have that up there now for everybody to see, and you should go and check it out.
There we are. That's perfect. Thumbs up.
Bingo, bango. So thank you very much for coming on the show, Warren. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to touching base with you in the year and see how everything's going on.
Excellent. I look forward to it. Take good care. Cheers.
Have a great day. Cheers.